translate here. So a championship on the line for them is Ryan Donovan, who I'm assuming is probably the champion, taking on Lufisto in the main event. So
interesting. Intergender match for the title.
Yeah, and the cool thing about Lufisto is she's all over the place as far as her wrestling goes, and this is the biggest thing that sucks about her retiring is the fact that she's got such a passion for the business, and obviously her husband supports her. So if you get the chance, I mean, Canadian indie, Ontario indie, wrestling in Quebec, and you haven't had the chance to see her live yet, do yourself a favor and check her out. And as far as tickets go for this one, you're looking at $5, $12 at the door. It looks like $5 for infants. That's anywhere from 5 to 13 years of age. And then looks like if you get tickets beforehand, you save $2. So $12 at the door and then $10 in advance. But you get the chance to see Lufisto live in Quebec.
Awesome. Can't go wrong, as I was saying. I'm sure there's a lot more going on. So if you find it, let us know. Share it. Share even the results from the show. We'll try and include it in our reviews and get the word out there for independent wrestling as well.
All right, it's the news that everyone's been talking about. Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea Part 2, the second wave, is getting ready to go, along with thousands of the friends of Jericho and me, sailing across the ocean to have the best vacation of a lifetime. I want to tell you right now, the hottest wrestling promotion in the world today, All Elite Wrestling, will be there. That's right, some of the greatest rock and roll bands in the world, some of the funniest comedians on the planet, paranormal experiences. Well, you'll be wondering, is this really happening? Well, the answer is yes. It is really happening, and so is Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea Part 2, second wave. Sign up for all the info for this all-elite vacation now at ChrisJerichoCruise.com. I want you on board Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea so we can all sail away, man! We'll see you there. Oh, yeah! It's a path to the divine.
Not independent wrestling, though, is AEW. We saw Double or Nothing a couple of weeks ago, and that was their first official event they had. But however, on June 29th, they're having their second event happening at the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach, Florida, and that is Fyter Fest. Currently, there's 4 matches on the card, and it's Bailey taking on Michael Nakazawa in a hardcore match. Cody is taking on Darby Allin in a singles match. There's a 6-man tag involving the Elite, Kenny Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson, taking on the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr., and Rey Fenix, plus a partner yet to be named. And Jon Moxley is taking on Joey Janela. So the card is shaping up. We've got some interesting names on there. I think Janela and Moxley will be an insane hardcore style match because Janela is just crazy as well. I got to see him at the Northern Tournament last year, and we've seen what he did at All In last September. Then, you got anything to add to that?
Well, I was giving you your thoughts on 2 things. Number one is 2 statements more or less mentioned by Dustin Rhodes, since we're on the topic of AEW. Number one, he says he will never, ever wrestle his brother again. Basically, that match that he had with Cody at Double or Nothing is cemented as far as that's it between the two of them. Your thoughts on that being the one and only match that we'll ever see between the 2 guys?
Don't believe it. I think they're going to build up some nice storyline, and when Dustin is finally ready to hang up his boots, it'll be Cody putting the bullet in his brother and putting him out to pasture.
All right, and the second thought is, and I'll read this to you since it is a statement from him. He goes, "Let's face it, you're sitting in the back and not doing anything, and it's hard and frustrating because when you have so much to give, but time is running out because you're getting older. It sucks when you're not being picked and you're pitching these ideas to the writers and Vince and nothing happens. I wanted to do something with substance." He goes, "Whether or not I deserved it or not, I don't know, but that's what I wanted. That's where my passion was, and I lost it along the way. I want it out. It's hard to get out. It's like prison. It really is. It's one of the prisons that they take good care of you, but I needed to go and do something else. They had taken good care of me, but I needed to get out, breathe, and find my passion again. So, do you believe, I said, let me rephrase that. Your thoughts on Dustin Rhodes basically saying WWE is like a prison, and with regards to guys like TJP as well as Sean Spears, is it almost like a dead zone as far as losing your passion for the wrestling business?
Unfortunately, at the moment, it seems like WWE is in that direction, and that's really sad considering how many years everybody has been fans of it. It's been likened to lately as being WCW, the way things started falling apart for them there. We said it numerous times last week on the show. Everybody is entertaining one guy, and if he doesn't have interest in you, or his mind wanders and thinks somebody else is better, he's not giving you the nod. Unfortunately, Vince isn't. We've seen how Triple H has dealt with people, and whether they came from the indie scene and went to NXT, he's formed them really well in the future WWE image, I would say, in NXT, but then they fall to the wayside in WWE as soon as Vince and Kevin Dunn get their hands on them. So Dustin's statement is not surprising. I think I saw a report this week. There was about 56, that includes some injured people, but 56 talent who were not active this week on TV. With you having 5 hours of TV every week, there shouldn't be that many people sitting back. Unfortunately, we're jumping the gun a little bit to WWE at the moment before finishing off AEW. But with that said, the brand split is still existing, but not existing. The wild card of 4 people only is non-existent either, because if you look at SmackDown this week, there was way more than 4 people from Raw that appeared on that show. And then there's all the people that are supposed to be on SmackDown who haven't been on there. And so it's kind of confusing how that goes.
Yeah, the problem with WWE right now is they are lacking the ability to entertain. They've got all the right ingredients, but they don't know how to put them together to make the wrestling fan care again.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's going to be a while, I think, before that changes. Though they have to somehow pay attention and get that changed, and be that legacy that they have and build it back up and not lose it again. And if that doesn't happen, who knows? It's going to be a harder climb for whenever Vince does step away, whether it's by death or forced out somehow, even by shareholders, potentially, eventually. Surprisingly, that hasn't come up in any share meetings or publicly to push Vince out. But
so I was just I got to make a reference for something, and because we're talking about AEW as well as WWE, and if you think about one of the things that we were just talking about with regards to New Japan and the best of the Super Juniors, the fact is you have a guy on the WWE roster named Ricochet. One of, to me anyways, one of the most gifted guys I've ever seen in my entire life, as far as just pure gifted performers go. He actually fought a match in the Best of the Super Juniors that was relevant against Will Ospreay. And you think of the two guys, and you look at the two guys, and they're very comparable in size and stature and movesets and everything. And that stuff goes. My relevance to what I'm saying right now is the fact is Ospreay just went and won Best of the Super Junior 26. What's Ricochet doing right now?
He's in a 50-50 battle with Cesaro.
Yeah, and no offense to Cesaro, because he is one of the most gifted performers out there way back to his Ring of Honor days. But the fact is, when you have a guy like Will Ospreay, who's top of the mountain as far as the super, the junior heavyweights go, who's being promoted to the heavyweight level, and you have WWE, where all of a sudden he's basically mid-card talent right now against Cesaro, that right there is symbolic in itself as far as where pro wrestling sits and where sports entertainment sits.
Yep. And it's kind of crazy, some of the people who are floundering right now who shouldn't be. And if you're not going to do anything with them, why bring them up to the main roster? It was somewhat a panic move, but if you're going to panic that much, use them instead of letting them squander.
Cough, cough, Viking Experience, cough, cough, EC3.
Kairi Sane.
Yeah, Kairi Sane, she's put in the tag team. Nikki Cross is basically a sidekick right now.
And they don't even know what they're doing with Alexa Bliss. Like Monday, she was a fan favorite with Nikki Cross having issues with the Iconics, and then the next night she's back being heel and going to be challenging for the women's title against Bayley at Stomping Grounds. This week's TV really didn't have anything significant. It was just like a lot of video packages, and yet they have this event coming up tomorrow afternoon, and they were then started also trying to set up Stomping Grounds. And when your main thing on both shows is seeing Undertaker or Goldberg, or Undertaker and Goldberg in the ring at the same time, and nothing really happens, why are these old guys taking the spot of somebody who needs it?
It's so we're looking at probably a 3-hour show this week, split into 2 parts. I guarantee I could go probably twice that long with regards to what the WWE's doing right now, as well as Vince versus Triple H. And I am 100% Triple H. And if you ever want to hear me vent, let me know. But I'm pretty sure I'm on the same side as 99.9% of the wrestling fans as what the WWE needs to do to basically, move up a step. And that's basically, you talk about putting, horses out to pasture. Vince McMahon is that horse, and Triple H needs to be the one who's doing this, because it's not looking good for WWE as far as October goes and their move to Fox. Yep. And that's, like I said, they have all the right ingredients. But the fact is, as long as Vince McMahon, that one man who you got to entertain, is in charge, WWE will not get better. And you just said it the best as far as characters like Alexa Bliss goes, or the NXT call-ups and this and that. And if they can't make up their minds as far as a character like Alexa Bliss goes, are you supposed to root for her? Or are you supposed to boo her? And all of a sudden you bring up NXT guys, and EC3's on WWE main event, and then all of a sudden you bring them up on Raw just to lose to somebody. What the hell was the sense of signing him from Impact Wrestling in the first place? Yeah,
and then you got the 24/7 belt that now Jinder Mahal is a 2-time champion. Elias is a 2-time champion, but R-Truth is now a 4-time champion. But the upside is they are using social media to show those 2 title changes that happened with Jinder and R-Truth in their flight to Saudi Arabia in the airport on the tarmac of the airplane and on the airplane today.
So I love Jinder Mahal because he's got affiliation with Bret Hart and he's Canadian. But his talent as far as in-ring style goes, there's a reason why he had the title and he lost the title. And he wasn't that great of a champion.
Promo. They were trying to get the Indian culture.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because the fact is Jinder Mahal won the championship, and the next thing you know, they have this tour of India happening. And it's, that's just coincidence. And you talked about it. You talked about it earlier as well. And no offense to R-Truth, because he is somebody who I don't mind seeing when he's on WWE TV, but he's up there in age. He was back in the day where Billy Gunn went, AWOL or got fired or whatever the case may be, and they had to take Road Dogg and put it with somebody else. So who'd they put him with? R-Truth. And they had this rapping gimmick going on, And that was back in the day. And all of a sudden now we're watching this guy perform on TV as 24/7 champion.